It was Christmas Eve, and the snow fell heavily on the deserted town square. John Malkovich walked briskly, clutching a worn book bound in red leather. Beside him, Emily, a young artist, followed nervously, glancing behind her. The streets were empty, yet the sound of footsteps echoed eerily around them. "Are you sure this is the right way?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. John nodded, his eyes sharp and unyielding. "The answers lie in the chapel." The chapel was ancient, its spire reaching toward the black, starless sky. Emily hesitated as they approached the heavy wooden door, worn with age. Pushing the door open, John revealed a dimly lit interior, cold and desolate. The air smelled of damp stone and something metallic, sharp and unnatural. A row of pews stretched into the darkness, leading to a flickering altar. As they stepped inside, the door slammed shut, making Emily gasp aloud. "John, what was that?" she asked, clutching his arm with trembling fingers. "It begins," he murmured cryptically, flipping open the mysterious book. Suddenly, a low moan filled the chapel, echoing from unseen corners. Emily spun around, her eyes wide, searching for the source of the sound. Out of the shadows, a figure emerged, a spectral woman in tattered veils. Her hollow eyes glowed faintly, and her hands reached toward the intruders. Emily screamed, backing into a pew, her heart racing in sheer terror. John raised the book, chanting words in a guttural, unearthly language. The ghost paused, its head tilting unnaturally, as if trying to understand. "Keep chanting," Emily urged, tears streaming down her face in desperation. But as John continued, the ghost let out an ear-piercing shriek of rage. The candles on the altar flared, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. "John, it's not working," Emily cried, her voice cracking with panic. Suddenly, a child's laughter echoed, chilling their blood and silencing them. From the darkness emerged a pale boy, his eyes empty, his grin sinister. He pointed at Emily, whispering, "You shouldn't be here. You're too late." The chapel began to quake, the walls weeping a thick black substance. John grabbed Emily's hand, pulling her toward the altar in a frantic dash. "There's only one way out," he shouted, his voice strained with urgency. At the altar, he ripped open the book, revealing a dagger wrapped in silk. "John, no!" Emily screamed as he raised the dagger and plunged it downward. The ground cracked open, revealing a swirling abyss of fire and shadows. The ghostly figures howled as they were dragged into the abyss, shrieking. The chapel grew silent, and the air was still, except for Emily's sobs. But then, a hand gripped her shoulder, cold, bony, and impossibly strong. "Help me," whispered a voice in her ear. Emily turned, but no one was there. She woke up screaming in her bed, drenched in sweat, her heart pounding. John sat beside her, his face pale. "It's not over," he said, voice shaking. The book lay open on the nightstand, its pages glowing faintly in the dark.